It looks like it's going. Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for attending today's fine seminar. My name is Lauren Hayes. I'm at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, and I am going to be hosting today's seminar. Before I introduce the speaker, I want to just show you a quick slide about what's going to happen next week in the fine. We are going to have a discussion panel. Sometimes we have these kinds of panels where we deviate a bit from the talks, and we have discussions about important themes related to the fine and more broadly. And next week, the theme is going to be what we hope many students can attend, will be a panel on the evolution of a research program. So talking about the difference between a project and a program. So there will be some discussion. It will be a discussion between a few professors. Nancy Solomon from the University from Miami University. I can't believe I made that mistake. Miami University in Ohio will be giving that. We'll be talking. Dr. Kathleen Carroll at the University of Rhode Island will be participating. They are at the opposite end of spectrums. Nancy's an emeritus professor, and Dr. Carroll just started as an assistant professor. And then three of the students that work with me in Chile hopefully will be able to attend. Xavier Ozawa is a PhD candidate from Virginia Tech, Amelia Pedroza Lopez, a master's student at University of Rhode Island, and Autumn Sims, who will be a master's student at Tennessee Tech University in near Chattanooga. And just so you know, the time is wrong on this slide. I believe Europe moves its clocks back or changes its clocks before the US does. So the time for next week will be 1600 hours or 4 o'clock for Europe. The same time for the United States, New York time, 11 o'clock. All right, with that, I'm going to introduce today's speaker. Today, we have Dr. Ali Harari presenting to us. Ali is a emeritus researcher at the ARO Volcani Center near Tel Aviv, Israel. Dr. Harari has a background in sexual behavior and mating systems, and also sort of application of understanding social animals, social insects in the context of agricultural practices. So she's interested in combining theory and applied approaches to develop environmentally friendly solutions for agricultural pest management. She had a very productive career, over 100 publications in some really excellent journals. I looked through Google Scholars, and there were papers in journals like Nature, Proceedings of the Royal Society, Evolution, Current Zoology, lots of good journals, of course, all the behavior journals as well. I will say that, we did a survey back about a year ago, the fine coordinators, and Ali's name came up as a suggestion as an invited speaker in that survey. So I was really happy that when we found her there, we invited her, she agreed to give a talk today. And Ali's talk the title of her talk is Decision-Making in Relation to Sex and a Moth. And with that, Ali, I'm going to turn it over to you, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'll try to share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
It is not the first slide, and I can't move it on.
There's the first slide.
And let's see, making in relation to sex in animals. I can't see what is written.
So the connection's not that great right now, Ali.
The connection is not great. And okay, what I try to convince you that both can make decisions and strategy in relation to sex, and they can use alternative of choice in a condition of answer. There's papers about decision making history, optimal foraging, or nature. It's really, really few methods on decision making in relations to sex. So I'll try to be short on this one. First, you need to know that in order to have strategy, you need to have some kind of cognition. And cognition is ability to take information through the senses, process information, retain it, and decide what to do accordingly. We see that most of this possibility at certain kind of. So when we're talking about sex, there are two ways to describe sex roles. One is a traditional sex role, which sex, and the other in Batman all night. And in this case,
Alex, excuse me. I need to jump in. It's very hard to hear. Um,
maybe now it's better.
and it's very broken up.
Oh,
One suggestion was that if you can somehow get me the slides, I can run them from my computer and then you can tell me when to move slides forward.
but the problem is, the problem is to see slides.
We can see the
to hear
slides,
you.
but we cannot hear you. It
What,
continuously breaks up.
are you using the laptop microphone or you have
Yes,
a?
I do.
Oh.
I do. Use the highlights.
The suggestion was that you turn off your screen, you're sharing, but you share your PowerPoint with me, and then I can run, you tell me when to forward the slides.
Okay, I'll send it. I need to send it to you.
I let's see how to best do that. Do you have you could put it into a drive of some sort because it's going to be a big file, no?
I send it through. I send it to Eduardo through WhatsApp.
Through WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is better.
No, I'm
Yeah.
awful with no, I don't have WhatsApp in the computer. Well, why don't you send it via
Oh,
email?
the image might be too heavy.
Can you put it into a Dropbox or a shared folder of some sort?
Oh, this is gonna be a problem. Let's see. Let's try something else. Okay,
Okay.
might be better. Let's share this one. Let's now. It's. Can you hear it now? Is it better now?
I can hear you.
So if you hear me, so just have it this way.
It's still not coming through clearly.
Okay.
You want to send it over to me, Ali?
You, you let it on WhatsApp. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I think your connection is better. Okay.
Could you stop sharing your screen?
She's calling from Israel, and I speak from her.
Ali, could you please stop sharing your screen? Because I think maybe it's a bandwidth issue.
Okay. I
Okay.
stopped sharing.
Now I can hear you clearly. So
Yeah.
who's going to have your talk?
I sent it to Rakefet Sharon, who is colleague from a different place in Israel.
Okay.
If she,
I have to
Rakefet, did you get it?
I have to allow them to have access here. Rakefet, could you see that you're a co-host now?
I can try now. In a
Okay.
minute. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
I'm
Can you
gonna
make
turn
it
it into a
full
slide,
screen?
yeah, in a minute. Okay.
Thank you very much, Rakefet. Now you are the boss. You can rush me over. Okay, can you start? Okay, so I thought about decision making. It can be in life history trade-offs sometimes, and continue to just run optimal foraging individual, where individual versus collective. And there is some studies on mate choice, not that very many, actually quite a small number. All this required a cognition, some kind of cognition, which means the ability to take in information through the senses, process it, retain it, and decide to act. Please, Rakefet. Rakefet, you need to be aware. You are mute. Okay.
We're hearing well.
Good. So when we think about the decision-making strategy in relation to sex, we need to speak about the traditional sex roles. Okay, females usually in the traditional sex roles, females are the limiting sex, and therefore they choose the mate. This goes back into Darwin and Batman a long time ago. According to this, males compete for females' attention and mate indiscriminately with available females. So they don't really care which females they mate with, as long as she's a female. But if we take the condition-dependent sex role, which also called sex role reversal, this is a condition when mating is costly for males. Males' mate choice is expected. And there are quite evidence for this. According to this, all males strive to mate with the highest quality female available to achieve the maximum possible payoff. When we go back to decision-making strategy in relation to sex, we ask, how do individuals make choices among some alternatives when we take into consideration the condition of uncertainty? Males don't know which females they find, when they find, if they accept them, or any other uncertainties. There are two main decision-making strategies suggested in the literature. One is the maximum utility, where individuals aim to maximize the payoff by making some optimal choices. The other one, and this is the maximum utility, the males have to assess female quality. After assessing the female quality, they need to assess the cost of reaching that female, and then they choose the best option. Another strategy could be the adaptive rationality. This deviates from expected maximum payoff because each individual take into consideration his personal biases and some heuristics, which heuristics here I mean good enough solution. It's not the best solution, it's good enough solution. And the adaptive rationality means that some heuristics needs to apply, based on the female quality and the male attributes. And there is strategy that is taken. In my case, I take just as a case the speed accuracy trade-off, which divided into two: the accuracy and the speed. Continue. My model research is the pink bollworm, Pectinophora gossypiella, which is the pest of cotton. And what we know about this moth is that there is a condition-dependent sex roles, a partial sex role reversal, where female mate multiply. They can mate more than once, twice most often, and male sperm is limited. So the sperm amount is not renewed in the adults. After mating once, the sperm amount is reduced. So when mating twice, it has less sperm. So it needs to decide which female to mate with. It has to make some priorities. And there is a mutual mate choice. Males have to decide which female to mate with, and females can also have the option to decide which male they accept. Next, so the females communicate with males via pheromones. They have very volatile pheromones that have two components in a 1-to-1 ratio on average. The two components are ZE and ZZ options, okay, which differs in the double bond direction. Please continue, Akefet. And my postdoc student, and Adrian Gonzalez-Carlson, she tested if female actually advertise honestly the quality via the sex pheromone. And she found out that, yes, Akefet, please. Small females, large females have more of the ZZ component, while small females have less of the ZZ. Young females have more of the ZZ, while old females have less of the ZZ. Okay, when we test for diet, for fat and starved large females, we didn't see any significant differences. But when we tested the same for small females, we did found significant differences. So what we can see here, that females can advertise the quality. She tells the males if she's large or small, and she's young or old, and if she's fed or not. Continue, please. Okay. And this can actually work together with, it's an honest signal, and it works together with her potential fecundity. With large females, with large females, have more offspring than small females. So when male can, please continue. When male sees sense the pheromone of a large female having more ZZ than ZE, he can tell that this female is probably large, and she's larger than the smaller female, and she probably will have more offspring if he's mate with her. According to this, we decided to take the females, large and small females, please. The large and small female, as a female characteristic, the male has to choose from. So every male has to choose between two females. One is large and one is small, and decide which one he prefers according to the two decision-making strategy. Can you continue? If we start with the maximum utility strategy, asking the males if he prefers large or small female, we first ask him, can you assess the female quality? We ask, please continue. We ask it in a wind-tunneled bioassay, where the wind tunnel is used is 3 meter long and 1 meter wide in height. And we offered him either large females or small females. So the male is released from the faraway point, and he has to fly to the female while reaching one of the sources, either for large female or for small females. Continue, Rakefet, please. Continue. And here we see that the males fly to one of the two sources. We can record the path, the trajectory of the male, and the males reach here one of the females landing on the cage where the female is. It's actually females, not volatile. Actual females calling. Please continue. And the male reach, and we can tell the trajectory. So, which females do you prefer in a wind tunnel bioassay? We can see here that males prefer large females, significantly so, over small females. They actually can tell in the wind tunnel which are the small females and which are the large females, and prefer to land near the large females. So he made a choice. It is not a strategy, yet it's only a choice. And when doing so, we can record the path. And in the low left corner is the beginning of the path. In the upper right corner is where the males reach the female. So we see in the left graph that the male is, please Rakefet, one push. And he reaches a large female when he, among the two, his path is fairly wide when compared to the right graph when he reaches a small female, when the path is relatively small. So the path is shorter and probably faster when he goes to the small female, which is kind of difficult to understand in the first glance. But these are the results. And Rakefet, please continue. And if we put all the males that flew to the large female in the wind tunnel in the left graph, we can see that when we project all males in one graph, we see the all passes of all males, which is much wider than the passes that did males that reach the small females, that chose to reach a small female. So it in first glance, it's difficult to understand why they go faster to the smaller female. And about this, we'll talk in almost the last slide. So this is the questions faced in front of us. And we try to understand the strategy among the two options. Okay, please. Looking for the maximum utility strategy, we saw that the male can assess a female quality, and Rakefet, please go one down. And we now ask, do they assess the cost of reaching the female, which is also need to be calculated in the choice. So, Rakefet, please. This was done by a PhD student, Iftach Gold from Tel Aviv University, and he tested two options: the cost of reaching a female in undisrupted versus disrupted airflow, which can be in a storm outside, and the cost of flying distance to competing females. In a field of cotton, many people call, and males need to decide if they go to their females that nearby or farther apart, and still considering if she's better female, which one is the better of the two. Please, Rakefet. So the cost of reaching the female was tested in a wind tunnel. In the left graph, we see two kind of laminar flows, and in the right one, Iftach put some obstacle before the pheromone, the one of the pheromones, so the pheromone will be disrupted now. And we ask the males, which one do you care about disruption? Do you take it into your consideration the cost of flying when the flow is disrupted? Please, Rakefet. And we see here that when the flow is disrupted, as we saw before, flying to large female is kind of wide angles, wider or longer flight, and while flying to the small female is much more, the path is more thin. Continue. When we use a disrupted flow, we see now what happens. All the flow is completely convoluted, but males can still reach the females, but it takes them much more longer flight and probably longer time when we look at the left slide, looking for when he chose to fly to the large female. However, when he flew to the small female, it is much less convoluted, much less, the trajectory is shorter. Again, the same idea as we see above. Okay, but what happens? The same idea as we see above, reaching a smaller female is kind of easier. It's less costly than reaching a large, better female. So it's kind of question that we need to understand. Please look at it. Another one, look at it. So when we look at it, this one, we need to see the result. Okay, and the results are when, good, thanks. Okay, but where are you? You are jumping too fast. Too fast. Another one. Okay, here. So we see the results that when presented with a disrupted flow, when the small female is in the red, in the left column, in the red part of it, there is an obstacle there, and there is the flow is disrupted. We see the males easily prefer the large female that is not disrupted. But when the large female is disrupted, males prefer the small female that it is not disrupted. It means that they calculate the cost and they decided not to pay the cost for reaching the better female. So they put it into their consideration. Next, okay. Okay, now we ask what they do when they face females in a different distance. So again, in a winter, small and large female. Next, Rakefet. And we see here with the males and female, when the two females are in the same level, the same distance from the males prefer the larger females, which makes sense. Next, Rakefet. When the large female is closer, males still, of course, prefer the large female, which is closer. But when the females are 20 centimeters far away, now they still prefer the large female, but not that strongly. And when the two females are one before the other, when the large female is closer to him, most males go to this female. But when the large female is far apart, less males are going to the larger female. So again, they do consider the distance from the available females. Next, look at it. So to sum this up, look at it. Next, we see that male assess the female quality and they assess the cost of reaching the female, and they choose the best option. So this strategy works. It's valid and it works. Now we test the next strategy, which is adaptive rationality, and see if it also plays accordingly. Here is the change, please. The main difference is that we have heuristic decisions. Males need to decide according to his state variables what to do, according to its main attributes and the female attributes what they do. Please continue, Akafit. So if we took the maximum utility strategy, it assumes that in given environment and females, all males will act similarly. All males will take the same decisions, either going for the better or the worse. But when taking the adaptive rationality, here we have different heuristic rules taken by each male. So each male consider his own status when it comes to decisions. This is a main difference. So the attributes we tested is size of males, the age, the mating experience, and the probability of mating. Okay, please. So we have size. Continue. Age and mating experience, all of them are tested against the females, either large or small, which one they decided to approach. Continue. And this was done by Danielle Milka. She's a veterinary student that did a project with me. She studied the behavior and the strategy in an olfactometer. Continue. In the olfactometer, we have two dishes having the volatiles, either small calling females or large calling females, calling meaning releasing the pheromones. Six side, continue, which dish to approach, which container, the one having, continue, the one having the larger female pheromone or the one having the smaller female pheromone. Continue. So, and this is the result. Continue. Okay, continue. These are the results. When small males were tested, we see here that they approach big and little females quite the same. There was no any significant difference. But when large males were asked to do the same task, they reach much more of the big female, significantly so. So when large females face large or small female, they prefer to go for larger female. So here we see that size matters, and large and small males have different approach, different behavior. And you saw that adaptive rationality got a star. Looking for the age is a small or either old or young males. Asking this question, okay? We see here that old males, males of lesser quality, again, they did not distinguish between big or little females. They approach both of them in the same numbers, same percentage. But the young males, the better males, did appreciate it more the larger female. They approach more the larger female, and significantly so. So, age of males matters. So, again, the adaptive rationality got a stop. Again, continue, okay, for mating experience, which means I gave, actually, Michal Moto did this research, and she gave the male a chance to mate. When they mated with the female, she was fast to separate them before the sperm was transferred to the female. And so the male experienced a failure. She did the same with a male, but they did not experience failure. They did not mate with a female, and those males were naive males. They did not experience a failure. And then she asked them, each of them, what do you prefer now? Either the large or the small female. And when she asked large males, what do you prefer? Larger or small female? Large experienced females prefer slightly the little females, not as expected. They considered their failure before, and now they didn't take a chance, and they went for the little female. However, when the large naive males were presented with the same option, most of them, of course, chose the larger female. Again, we see here that experience matter, and the adaptive rationality got a star. Continue. Now testing the same for small females. We see here that small experienced males did not distinguish between big or little females. They did not put into consideration their experience. It didn't matter if they were disappointed in their mating or not. They went the same for big and little females, and the same naive males. Naive small males. They didn't care if there was large or small female. Continue. Okay, so here they didn't care about their experience, so the maximum utility got a star. However, when we compare now the large males and small males to each other, we see here that there is a big difference between the choice of large and small males. So actually, we change the star and we put the star. Okay, please. We put the star in the adaptive rationality because large experience didn't matter for large males, although not for small males. Okay, so we have now all these, and we have now the probability of mating. Do the females also have a saying to males, either large or small? Please look at it, continue. And we see here that large females in the left side, large females, they don't really care if they are large males or small males. They are not in the 5 minutes we get them to decide which they take. They were really not very acceptable. So they were not very anxious to mate with either males, either large or small. Looking for the small females, they did appreciate. Okay, continue. They did appreciate. Continue. Looking for the small females, they didn't really care. They were fast to mate either with small males or large males, although giving some priority to larger males. But they were fast to mate. So this gives us a hint that persistence will give more strength to larger males. Larger males can be more persistent, and so there will be more, they have more chances to mate with the large females. So again, body size also is need to be considered when approaching a female. So again, this adaptive rationality will also give get a star. Okay, okay. So now we got all this tested, and so let's summary it for time being. Okay, can you? If we look for size, we see here that large females also. A minute, okay. Large females always prefer the bigger females. Again, if we, okay, please, if we look for age, we see here that young males, okay, if we look for age, we see the young males, okay, please, large males always or have more tendency to prefer the larger females. Again, significantly so. If we look for mating experience, we see here, okay, that larger males preferred larger females, significantly so. Continue, okay, and if we look for the probability of mating, again, larger males have more chances to mate with larger females. Please continue, okay, looking for what happened with small males. So we see that small males don't care. The results are non-significant. They can choose either large or small females. Continue. Looking for age, the same. All females did not care. It's non-significant, either small or large females. Continue. When they look for experience, again, they didn't care if they're experienced or not experienced. Small males did not care. The results are not significant. Only when looking for large females, large experienced males, the results are significant, but to the opposite direction. They prefer small females. So here there's something that we need to see. Small males, old males, and disappointed males have different approach. They don't care if they're large or small females. Continue, okay? So what we can conclude for now, when you're looking for the decision-making strategy, okay, please start. Okay, as we see that the adaptive rationality got more stars and the maximum utility got less, it's less agree with our results. Looking for the adaptive rationality option of making decision-making strategy, okay, please. We are left with a strategy chosen. So we chose here the strategy is a speed or accuracy trade-off. Do they actually have a strategy these males. Continue, Rakefet. And this brings us back to the graph that we started with. We see here that males that choose larger females, their behavior, the trajectory is much more spread than females that choose the red point, the small female. So the problem is that it's not really to understand why males that choose a larger took the larger trajectory, took them more time than males that chose the smaller females, that less reproductive females. Why did they flew faster and with less effort to the one female that is less productive? So, fighting with this result, we come back to the speed accuracy trade-off, and our suggestion is that, okay, please, that what we see here is speed accuracy trade-off with the left graph, that males that chose to reach the larger females did it after choosing the accuracy strategy. They searched for information, they gathered information all over, and they did not decide at first which way to go. They continued to gather information till they got a clue of the larger females and continue to search for these larger females, although it took longer time and the path was larger. While the males that reached the smaller female here chose the speed. They didn't gather information that that only cared about being the first to mate with any female. Now, what we see here is only part of the results, because similar results were got when they chose the blue point, where they chose the better female. So this male, they chose a speed kind of gamble. They didn't care about information. They flew to the first pheromones they noticed. They took it. They didn't follow any clue they got. They took it and reached any female that they reached for. So what they matter for them is the speed to reach one, not taking care which one is it, either large or a small female. Continue, Rakefet. So if we summarize the high quality males that took the large males, young males, and naive males that most of the time chose the larger female, they did it after gathering information and following cues of larger females. While while the low quality males, the small ones, old ones, and the ones that failed in mating, they just gambled and reached as fast as they could to any female. So the decision-making strategy we think we got here is a speed accuracy trade-off, and I think I'm convinced there still is some works to do to verify it, but this is as we got so far. And by here, I want to thank everybody in my lab that helped to reach these results and help you for your patience. Thank you very much. And I will accept any question.
Thank you, Ali, for a really interesting talk, and thanks for working through those technical issues too. That's quite a challenge. And thanks to Raket for helping us with that.
Yeah, thanks, Raket.
At this point, could you stop sharing screen? And this is an opportunity for people to ask questions. Just a reminder, when you have questions, please put a question mark in the chat and I'll forward it up to Ali. And then also if you're on YouTube, please just put your full question, not the question mark, but a full question in the comments. And when you ask your question, please just introduce yourself. We're trying to keep building community through getting to know each other. So the first question I see comes from Clara. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Your use of wind tunnels, in my opinion, is really clever. And I think that is fun. I'm Clara Jones, Clara B. Jones, retired social evolution. I want to ask first, what LLM do you use to supplement, augment your research?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Yes.
What LLM are you using? I'm sorry?
What is LLM?
That linear mixed model?
Are you using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini in your lab?
No, the analyzing of the past was through Python. If this was the question.
I talked to Grok about decision making in moths, and Grok said that what appears to be decision making is actually response determined by phototaxis. What do you think about that response from Grok?
The moths fly at night, and the completely darkness in the wind tunnel, so it can be photo. It can be, it's only smell. Did I answer your question?
So you're saying that what you're observing is decision making in a cognitive sense?
You see, speaking about cognitive in moths, it's quite challenging. But there is certain kind of cognitive. They can calculate the cost and the benefit and decide accordingly. You can see it. They choose to fly to a certain smell. This can be evolutionary, not necessarily cognition, but putting into consideration all different costs must have kind of cognitive. Actually, what we aim to continue in this research is to actually make it more complicated and to see if they actually can expect the payoff according to their decision making. So if the payoff is different according to the decision and they play accordingly, yes, I think we can call it a cognitive decision.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Great. So I have a question. And by Lauren Hayes, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, hosts today, and I study social mammals. In your experiments or other experiments, have people looked at, in terms of the flight patterns, and maybe I misunderstood this in the talk, if there's more complex mixing of the signals? So, for example, if you have multiple, and I can imagine a highly dense group, highly dense number of individuals, the cost and benefits of decision making depend on how clear the signal is, but also what else is around you, like the density of individuals. Can you speak to those two issues? So it'd be the number of competitors and also the mixed up signals that could happen if you have mixing of chemicals.
Yeah, and the mixture of signals there's always a mixture of signals because there's never straight flow of the pheromone. It's always tingling around. And the signal is, if more than one female around, the signal is mixed. So males need to follow the female they want to follow. They need to decide, according to my understanding, which female they follow. And they can do it according to the molecules they get. If you look at social interactions, in many cases, there are few in the field. There could be many females sitting on the same branch, so they can send their own signals. The signal is mixed. And in another way, there's always another male that compete for these females. We didn't check for a male competition because it's difficult to do it, but we intend to do that. We'll find a way to do it, and not as a memory, with how many males we were raised, but in the moment of searching for female, we need to make it with the smell of other males around the female. And then the males are already there, and the searching males need to decide if he compete or he doesn't compete. So it's different question, it's completely different decision to make, but it's a decision he has to make. Compete or not compete when the other males are there. And if there are not other females around, and this is a case in a wind tunnel, what does he do? Does he compete or does he give up? I presume that he will compete, but maybe not for the better female, but for the less good female in order to experience less competition. This is an open question, which also suggests some kind of cognitive.
And if I could follow up on that, what is it that you talked about receptivity? And if I remember correctly, the small females were more receptive than large females, correct?
Yes.
Do we know why that's the case, or?
Yeah, as males prefer large females, females can be choosy. Large females can be choosy because all males prefer them. They're choosy, so they don't accept any males. They let them try and court and court and court till they accept them. So they will accept males, but it will take longer time. While females are ready to accept any males, large females will take the time. Let the males fight. They don't really fight, but they come to the females and then kind of struggling among themselves to reach the female.
And I guess there was one more question. At the start of the talk, did you say they mate multiply? So is there differences in the receptivity and also the behavior of the males based on when the females last mated?
We don't know. In this moth, I'm not familiar with any studies that tested sperm preference. So I don't know which will gain, the first or the second male. In other moths that we study, there is a second male, 85% of preference. So the first male to mate will lose quite a lot if he's not the first. Will gain only 15% of the offspring if he's not the first. So and again, if as males, if he's the first male, if it is first mating, and he is the first to mate, he has more sperm than if he is mated already. So he wants to be sure that the first male he mates with, he will be the first, and she will be a good female, or the better female he can reach.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm not quite sure what, Clara, you put a comment.
Well, I put the comment because any of these LLMs have all are trained on all of the information available on the internet. So that if you have a question that doesn't have an answer, a definitive answer, 9.5 times out of 10, you can get the answer by asking an LLM.
Yeah, but I'm afraid that I'm not aware of studies that tested moth strategies, especially not in relation to mail, but most strategies are rarely tested. So I don't see that I can find it in any AI methods.
Well, I encourage you, and this is the last thing I'll say. I encourage you to check with an LLM because it knows more about your species than any researcher, single researcher knows.
Yeah,
That's all I'll say.
I use it quite often to look for reference and to look for information. I use it. I don't rely on it, but I use it.
I'm sorry?
I don't rely on it, but I use these methods in order to gather information. I do.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Checking on YouTube. I don't see any over on YouTube. I like to give people enough time to really sort of think through, come up with a question.
I can ask some questions.
Sure.
What we're missing here is first, I tested small males and large males. How do males know if they are small or large? This is something I need to ask and find a way to research it. It's a very important question. And yeah, as you ask another question, it is important to me is to know if they consider male-male competition, and we will follow it. Another important question to me is to know if they take under consideration the payoff. Do they can predict what is the payoff if the female mate twice? Do they consider it? Do they base their decision according to what will be if the female remate? This kind of questions.
So they're making decisions based on, what was the last one? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
If they based on the payoff, do they know? No is a difficult question. Do they can predict the payoff if they mate with a small female? I know that they prefer large males, so I guess they know the payoff. Otherwise, why should they bother? So I guess they know that if they mate with a larger female, they will get more offspring. No, kind of evolutionary knowing. But do they take into consideration what happens if the female remate? If they are the first one or the second one? All these questions, do they care? Do they, I would say, think about it? Do they take it into consideration? Is it part of the strategy?
I don't know if I can answer that.
I think that by doing more and more experiments, we can answer it. I mean, not definitely if they know, but because they kind of I don't think we can do it following the nerve system, but by knowing. It's not like mama that you can put some tools and measure it in different kinds of the brain. Maybe later on, but now it is too small. But according to their behavior, we can assume that they consider it. I don't know if they know it, but they consider it. Knowing is a too much of an intelligent question.
In this species, is there other competition other than direct,
Yeah.
it sounds like scramble competition essentially for the females, but is there also post-reproductive competition, like sperm competition, or that would influence the quality of the females?
We don't know. We don't think that the sperm or the ejaculates affects the female quality. We didn't see any evidence for that. In moths, there are two types of sperm. One that is having inheritance information in it, and some that it doesn't have any information. So it just assume to be used to either block other sperm or whatever, we don't really know, or cheat the female, we don't really know. All these answers are not, we don't really have evidence for that, so we don't really know what is the purpose of the sperm, the apoiran sperm, the sperm that doesn't have any information in it, and they don't fertilize, and they don't have any, we don't know what the role. So in the behavior, we do know that males quite often displace mating males before they put the spermatophore in. So there's a real strong competition, physical competition among mating males. So males can displace other males before they put the spermatophore. After they put the spermatophore, they stop fighting. So after having the spermatophore, the male will lose in the same night. The same night.
Does the spermatophore have like I know in some species energetic benefit to it, to the female? Is that what?
Not that we know of.
Okay, so there's no nuptial gift giving in this.
Not that we know.
Okay. Architect, please go ahead.
Yeah. We do know that if male mate for the second time, his second mate with the first female, it doesn't affect their offspring number or life expectancy, nothing. So we don't see any evidence for that.
Okay. Please go ahead. Is it Rakefet? Did I say that?
Yes, Rakefet. Yeah. So Ali, do you think there is a paternal influence if one of them is large, still the offspring would be small, but still feel large, or has some inheritance choice? Did you ever test this?
We do know that size is inherited, both of males and females, meaning that large males most probably will have larger offspring. Where actually, I'm not sure that it's. I know that larger female will have larger offspring, smaller female will have smaller offspring. I don't know how much is the male impact into it. I never tested it. It's a good question. We can test it. Yeah, but if male is small, he can't do anything about it. He will have less chance to mate. He will have less offspring if he mate with a smaller female, which he will accept him faster. It's a bad luck being small. Sorry, like I said.
Yeah, I'm small actually. But what I meant to ask is maybe we haven't thought about it, but maybe some of the decision is less cognitive and more evolutionary. If you have like a clone of large family, offsprings that are born for large females, who were born for large females, maybe it has an influence as well on the decision making.
And okay, I'm sure that there's an evolutionary point of it. I mean, the cognitive, it's also evolutionary thing.
Yes.
So you can look at it, I think, you can look at it at a simple way, says there's no cognitive at all, and everything is, you know, evolution.
Inherited.
Not inherited, it's not a good word. Everything is just because it's Darwinian. Simple, they'll get more offspring, you'll do such and such, and this is what happens, and there's not any, and we don't need to put cognitive into it to get the same results. I think we understand it better if we put cognitive into it, because there are different strategies. And if there are different strategies for large males and small males, and if we can test it, if we don't let males know that they are small, if we don't let them know they're small, if they read only among small males, so they know only small males, they don't know anything about the size, they know that they are just as any other else, if they still behave as small, mean do the speed things, means it is all Darwinian, no cognitive. But if they're not cognitive, but if when they know they're small, they behave differently, it is cognitive. Right. Was it clear?
Yes, that's what I meant, this part.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, the big question if these small creatures have any cognitive ability. I think they do. I mean, people say that we have personality. Personality is also something cognitive. I never tested personality, but it is kind of personality. Why shouldn't they have what they call personality or cognitive? Any other opinion?
I'm not versed in the personality literature enough. I know that there's like animals can be shy or bold. I don't know the cognitive underpinning of that. I guess my understanding of cognition is can you show it neurally? Can you show a neural connection there? Is there a way to get into the brains of these guys?
Yeah, that is too small. I don't think we have the tools to do it so far. And you need to separate different areas in the brain in order to know what to look for. And it is too small. We don't, the pins that you attach into it is too big, in order to separate the areas.
Yeah, I suspect it's going to be difficult to assess then.
Yeah. But behaviorally, again, the way to test it is to not let the males to know what they are. If you don't know what they are, if they don't know what they are, they will behave the same. If they know what they are, they may change the behavior if they're among small or among big individuals.
So you suggesting that you would disorient them in a sense, like?
Yeah, it's
if they don't know what they are, you'd have to almost remove the odor, the chemicals of the females too.
No, this is a good question. If the females know what they are, I think all females try to behave like large. Some can't because they're small, because they don't have the necessities to produce this ratio of pheromones. Because every female would like to cheat. They cannot teach. It's an honest signal. So you can't play much with females. If you are big, you do this change in the pheromones. If you're small, you can't do that. But with males, you can play with it. You can let a male rear only with smaller males with them, so they presume they are larger. And if they presume they are larger, although they are small, they behave as larger. So, so this will tell the difference between inheritable trait or strategic trait.
Any other comments on that?
It could be what you asked before about competition, that if you rear them in the same environment, then you might increase the competition aspect, and because they all have the same chance, actually. So this might be an interesting way to test how compatible they are and how this affects the choice.
Yeah, but here you assume that they remember where they come from. So if they were reared among other males, they assume huge competition, but when they are in the wind tunnel, they don't sense these males anymore, but they remember. So they behave the same. So I'm not sure that they have this kind of memory. It needs to be tested. I suggest to put males in the wind tunnel together with the females and to test the behavior this way.
If a large male is choosing large female in the wind tunnel more than it chooses it, and this is without anything else, it means it remembers that it is big, compared to a small one that would go mostly to the small female. So it means they do remember the status.
Yeah, the status they know. Yeah.
So if they know their status, if you raise them together, might give them a sense of competitiveness, maybe.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. It is testable. Sure. Yeah. If it's even easier. Yeah, it's testable. Thank you.
These moths go through periodic outbreaks of like large numbers.
Yes. Yes, they do. They start in the beginning of the season when they're obligatory moths. They feed mostly and almost only on cotton. So in the beginning of the season, the population is low and it increases along the season.
I think you need to see if decision making is associated with the seasonal variation. It's gonna be tough because you got seasonal issues and then you have density issues. Because to me, the challenge of choosing a mate, the relative costs and benefits of choosing a mate will differ, right? Based on the density or the life history of the animal, the developmental stage of the animal. I was going to ask the small individuals, I think you had age as one. You looked at size and experience. I assume experience is associated with age. Is that correct?
No, they were the same age.
Okay. Okay.
So
Oh, okay. I see that. You control for
not
the age.
age because we tested them the same day of the experience. So they all were 3 days old.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But what you suggested is that it might be different between beginning of the season and the end of the season. And so you hide, or it's hidden assumption that most know which generation in the season they are, which is another assumption.
So they're different generations, you're saying, early and late in the
If
season.
if it's a question of season, not just of density, so if the first generation or fourth generation or fifth generation, they behave differently, they need to know which generation they are, regardless the environment change.
How long do they live?
1 month, 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Uh, because yeah, so like basically, how often do they breed in that
In
1 month?
the,
I'm sorry.
in the field, they have like 5 generations in the season.
So one individual mate 5 times is what you're saying.
No, different things. He live only 1 month or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But in these 3 weeks, he may mate, in laboratory, they mate up to 4 or 5 times. Most
Okay.
of them only once, but some up to 5.
Okay. Because I imagine the extent of heteroparity then will determine the
The
extent
what?
of the heteroparity. It sounds like you're saying they breed more than once during their lifetime. Is that
No,
correct?
no. They mate more than once during the lifetime.
That's what I meant by breed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're heteroparous. So
Okay.
if they're heteroparous, the costs and benefits of breeding with your optimal choice may depend on,
On your
who,
experience, how many
yeah,
sperm you have? Will the female accept you? Will he remate again if you have a small spermatophore? If you transfer a small spermatophore after mating 2 or 3 times, the females probably will mate again, and you may then lose, but you gain what you gain. It's your
yeah.
third time, so it's okay.
Hmm. Sounds like there's a lot you could still ask, right? That's the exciting thing
Yeah.
about this. So many questions.
Yes.
And I knew you were, I was interested in the density because of the, you know, not only just the social aspect of it from our perspective, but also from the applied aspect of it, you know.
Yeah.
So they
But
might have reproductive tactics or something depending on local density, therefore the level of competition. That's kind of what I was thinking.
in Israel, what they do, they use mating disruption, which means they put pheromones all over the field, and the males are disrupted. They don't find the calling females.
Mhm.
So they don't mate, and then they have less offspring. But interestingly, since this method is applied for the last 40 years, there is an evolutionary changes in the behavior of males and females. So in the field, more females release pheromones that is different than the synthetic pheromone assembly. So since the average pheromone is 1-to-1 ratio of the components, in the field you find more of the higher percentage of the ZZ isomer, which represent larger females. So larger females mate more than other females. Larger females have more offspring. So it has kind of vicious circle.
Mhm.
After these 40 years of evolutionary stable condition of mating disruption.
Hmm. Interesting.
It's more interesting than you think if you
No,
take it to the field.
yeah, that is interesting. Huh. I've asked all my questions I can think of. Are there any others? So I think what I'll do is I'll stop the stream to YouTube.
And thank you very much again. But they were very good questions. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us an interesting talk, and I enjoyed the conversation. Next week we have those of you still watching online, we have the panel discussion on research programs.